Hey everybody, Joe here. I'm back again, and this week I'm showing you my top 5 favorite consoles. Just like I said on Facebook and Twitter, if you've been following, I've thought it would be a great idea for me to attempt to do one of these every week, so here I am back again, and this is my top 5 favorite consoles. Wasn't going to be all retro consoles, but that's just the way it happened. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my DS. I love the Xbox 360, but these are a little bit more special to me. Okay, with that said, let's go on. Top 5. And in 5th place, I'm totally cheating. I have a tie. We have the Game Boy Advance. Great console, great handheld. I mean, they ported a lot of Super Nintendo stuff to it and similar types of things, but it's capable of way more than that. There are a lot of cool games for it, and the fact that it can play the old Game Boy and Game Boy Color games and on top of it make it, such a versatile system with such an epic library to it. Also in the top 5 position is the PlayStation 1. Great, another awesome console. This is, one of my original units from when I was younger, and there are a lot of awesome games for this. First one that comes to mind is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is probably the absolute best platforming adventure, period, without any contest. But that's just my opinion. And again, this list is all my opinion, so some of you may not agree with what I'm going to have in my next position, which is the Super Nintendo. Yeah, Super Nintendo is an awesome system. Great games. So many to choose from. If you read my blog last night, there's over 1,400 worldwide for the Super Famicom and Super Nintendo. That's a lot. I mean, when most systems get maybe around 700-800, and this has over 1,400. That's a lot. Back then systems had a lot more staying power. But anyway, great system. I mean, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past is by far one of the best video games ever, in my opinion. I still have yet to play Super Metroid. I'm sure it's going to rank high on my list when I get it, but there are so many awesome games. But there's also a lot of games which are really highly regarded, which aren't my thing. So for me, that's why it's a little lower on my list. Okay. I'm sure not a lot of you are going to agree with Super Nintendo being in 4, but again, my list. Third on the list is the Atari 2600. If you haven't already, check out my 2600 Memories video that I did, and you'll see a lot of reasons why this is such an important console to me growing up. And again, if you didn't already know, this is the very 2600 I've played ever since I was a very, very young child. Okay, moving on. Number 2 on the list. Again, my list. And with the Super Nintendo ranking 4th, that means that Genesis could only come up higher. And it's in my number 2 position. Again, it's all about the games. I mean, Sonic series, Streets of Rage. Come on. Those are some of the most, amazing, fun games to play. I mean, yes, some of you will say, but, side-scrolling beat-em-ups, they get repetitive. And yeah, some of them do, but, Streets of Rage always just has such nostalgia value, and it's just so much fun. And, not just that, but certain things, it's like I always, for some reason, was more partial to the Super Street Fighter 2 and Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition over the Super Nintendo ones, although they might look a little better. There's more features and just something about the fluidity of the controls to me. Also, Mortal Kombat 1 is better on the Genesis, in my opinion. But and it's not just about having the blood in Mortal Kombat 1. It's also just certain things about the way the play feels to me. And again, the Sonic games, such a great library, and also, as for someone who's collecting games now, there aren't so many Genesis titles that are so exorbitantly priced. So I'm picking up a lot of games that I never played when I was younger, like Gunstar Heroes and Sagaya, and there's great other incredible games that I totally looked over at a younger age, which I'm picking up now, and it's great that they're so much more affordable. Okay. Now moving on, we have one system left. Number one, I think it's pretty obvious. Most historically important gaming system, in my opinion, is the Nintendo Entertainment System. Why is that? Here in America, as you all know, the industry kind of went to hell around 82, 83. I mean, there was so many systems out back then, and games that were retailing for, around $40 were getting blown out at Woolworths and Kmart's and places like that for $5. Because people were just, didn't really know what to buy. There was no, gaming magazines or internet to tell people what's good, don't play that ET game, that's a piece of shit, When this showed up on our shores in 85, it changed the game completely. Games were back in popularity, and they've been ever since. I mean, they made this cool looking system, which, as you can see, compared to all these others, it's quite bulky. But aesthetically, this was really cool back in the 80s. I mean, you'd sit it, in your entertainment center, but near your stereo equipment and your VCR and whatnot. And it just looked like it belonged, with the gray and the rectangular shape, and the fact that the game was loaded in the front. Feed me. Okay, that was silly, but yeah, it was right there, and it worked. And then the games that came out for it, I mean, there's including the unlicensed unofficial games, there's well over 800 for the console. I mean, I think it's something like over 650, maybe probably more like 675 of actually officially licensed games. But still, that's again sizable set of a catalog of games. And for the 9 years that it was produced, most of them, it was the top dog. I mean, so many people had it. It's, I believe, the fourth or fifth big, best-selling game system of all time still. I mean, PlayStation 1 is one of the few that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, the Nintendo Wii, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, then this, also the DS. If you count handhelds, all did sell better, but that's pretty big, especially with the fact that it was such a bleak time period, in gaming when this hit the market. But when it did, it changed the game, and because of that, it's my number one. All right, like I said, it's my list. Yours may be different. In fact, I'd like to see and hear what you guys think, and also what your list would be like. What are your favorite consoles? I mean, even if you're just someone who plays games, if you're someone who collects, like me, I mean, your list I'm sure is going to be different. I'd like, share yours. Either leave a comment down below, or, join in the conversation on my Facebook page. Take your pick. Love to hear from you. If you want to see more top fives, if you have an idea for one I could do, go by all means, let me know. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. and I'll see you next time.